Hello and welcome to my April Artsnacks unboxing and Artsnacks challenge. 2022 has just been the best year for these boxes in my opinion. In this box we have the snack, of course, Watermelon Warhead. I feel like Artsnacks boxes are the only place you can still find these. Either way, I'm definitely on board. Then there's the lovely information card, and now let's unwrap all this and see what we've got. First, we have a Princeton Snap golden synthetic brush. I know this is just aesthetics, but I really like the color of this and the cool kind of iridescent marbly look to it. A Zebra M301 mechanical pencil, and two different colors of gouache. I'm a big visuals person, so I'm always online just looking at cool, visually inspiring things. And recently I happened upon these fun 1960s illustrations from Japanese fashion magazines. And they kind of remind me of a more poppy, upbeat version of The Belladonna of Sadness, which I just watched. So I'm kind of obsessed with these. I love retro 60s, 70s animation and illustration, and I also love Japanese art specifically, so really into these. And I decided to use them as my inspiration for today's Artsnacks challenge. So I'm only going to use the supplies that came in this box, as well as this 5x7 canvas board that I had laying around for my base. I used the pencil first to sketch my outline, and I really love it. The only thing, of course, that I noticed is, it doesn't have an eraser. But luckily, I have a lot of other nice white erasers, which are my favorite, on hand. But I did not use an eraser for this because the rule is you can only use the supplies that came with the box. So I had to be real careful. I like that this pencil is more sleek and the grip isn't super thick. Sometimes if the grip is too wide, I don't know, I guess I have small hands. It makes my fingers hurt. I also like that the lead draws really dark because sometimes this can be useful, especially if you're doing shading like I will be doing in this piece later on. I also love the gouache, which is great because I just recently had purchased some at the craft store on clearance just because I wanted to try it out, and I thought I'd like it because it's supposed to be a kind of in-between acrylic and watercolor, and I love using watercolor, so I thought this would be kind of like watercolor but give me a bolder look. And I didn't really care for them. I had trouble, so I was disappointed. But now that I'm using these, I'm finding that it's one of those instances where quality matters. The set that I got on clearance was just a generic craft store brand, which sometimes is fine, but for gouache, it was obviously not fine. I'm noticing a big difference using these. What's neat about these too that I read on the information card is that, like traditional gouache, you can blend with water similar to watercolor, but this particular brand is water resistant once it's dry because it uses an acrylic resin binder. So that is really great actually. And I noticed that as I was working, when I started layering my brighter yellow over the turquoise, I noticed that once it was dry, it wasn't smudging. When you used wet on wet, you could still blend, but once it was dry, even when I re-wet the pigment, it didn't move at all, similar to acrylic paints. They blend really nice, have a beautiful matte finish. They're so smooth. I really enjoy using these, and I'm definitely going to have to get more to replace my cheapy ones that I picked up that I have at home right now. I also love this brush. I'm a fan of Filbert brushes in general because they're just like right in between a flat brush and a round brush, which is kind of fun. Again, the Artsnacks challenge rule is you can only use the supplies that came in the box, so this was the only brush I was allowing myself to use. And I was a little bit worried about how it was going to do in some of the fine details since it's a size 8, but because of the shape of it, when I turn it on its side or just use the tip, I can still get really thin lines and get into those little tight corners when I want to add detail, but then I can also use it with a wider range to fill in background washes, etc. So you can see after I added my base colors, I went ahead after it dried and shaded back over with the pencil. So dry drawing materials work really well over top the gouache once it's dry also, which is great to know. Another great box. I absolutely loved everything again. And I'm really happy with how my fun little challenge turned out. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see future Artsnacks unboxings or some of the other fun art demos I do, be sure to subscribe. Bye!